I read my best friend perfectly. He'd gone quiet. Replies were short. The "yeah, I'm good" landed completely flat. I put it together and I got the answer right. Something was wrong. And then I used that read to do the single worst thing I could have done to him. I'll come back to that. Everyone teaches you how to read people. Almost nobody teaches you what happens next when you're holding a read and you're sure you're right. 3 things to look for, and one rule that matters more than all 3. Mind reading is not seeing thoughts. Nobody can do that, and anyone selling you that is selling you something else. What you can read is signals. The small, leaky things people do when their words and their feelings disagree. People are not hiding as well as they think. Most of us are broadcasting constantly, we just never learn to listen. And forget the Sherlock in your head. He isn't a genius who knows things, he's a man who notices things, then does the boring work of checking whether he's right. He asks when he's wrong, he updates. That's the whole skill, not certainty, curiosity. Remember that? It matters in about 4 minutes. This is the step everyone skips, and it's why most body language experts are wrong. Crossed arms don't mean defensive. Sometimes they mean cold. Looking away doesn't mean lying. Try doing hard mental arithmetic while staring someone in the eye. You can't. Looking at a face is expensive, and your brain wants that processing power back. There's no universal code. There's only this person and how this person normally behaves. So watch them when nothing is happening. How fast do they normally talk? Where do their hands sit? Do they say sorry constantly or never? That's their baseline, about 10 minutes of low-stakes conversation to build one. Then you stop looking for gestures and start looking for deviations. The person who talks with their hands and suddenly goes still, whose emails are 4 paragraphs and today's is 1 line. That shift is the signal. Everything before it was noise. The trap with someone new. Your brain doesn't stop reading. It borrows a baseline, usually yours. So a quiet person reads as cold. A fast talker reads as nervous. Before you decide someone changed, make sure you knew what they were like before. We're trained to listen to words. The most honest information is in what's missing. Ask how the new job is going. If they tell you about the commute, the office, the coffee, and never once mention the people, that silence is data. Ask about their weekend, and notice which name disappeared. Last month, it was in every sentence. This month, you have to ask. People rarely lie outright. It's risky, and it takes effort. What they do instead is edit. They walk you carefully around the thing. And you can hear the walking. How did the presentation go? Oh, it's such a relief to have it done. That's not an answer. That's a door being closed politely. The trap, an omission tells you a topic is sensitive. It does not tell you why. They might hate their colleagues, or be intimidated by them, or be protecting something private that isn't yours to know. You found the door. You have not found the room. Emotions don't arrive in one channel. They arrive in several words: face, voice, timing. Sometimes those channels disagree. Careful here, because this is where people start inventing science. There is no reliable lie detection tell. Researchers have hunted for one for decades, and the results are famously thin. So here's the honest version. You're not detecting deception, you're noticing friction. Enthusiastic words in a voice with no lift. Agreement that arrives a beat later than every other answer. The "no, it's fine" with a face that hasn't caught up. None of that tells you what someone feels. It tells you this answer cost them more effort than the others. That's all. But effort is where the interesting thing usually is. And most of the time you're not catching a liar. You're catching someone with a reservation they haven't found words for yet. That's not a person to corner. That's a person to ask a second question. The biggest trap. Once you can spot mismatches, you'll spot them everywhere, including where they aren't. Tired people sound flat. Neurodivergent people often have expressions that don't map the way you expect. Someone in pain, someone who slept badly, all mismatch. None of it means what you think. Which brings me to the part I need to tell you. The friend from the beginning? 2 months of short replies, canceled plans, never started a conversation, so I ran the read. Deviation from baseline obvious. Omission, he never mentioned me. Mismatch, yeah, I'm good, just busy, completely flat. 3 for 3. So I built the story. He was done with the friendship. I was being quietly phased out, and I was so confident that I decided to protect myself. I pulled back first. A few weeks in, he tried once. Thursday night. Just you around? I saw it, and I decided that was him being polite, because that was the story I was in by then, and every piece of evidence had to fit it. I replied the next morning. Something short. Something busy. He never asked again. 4 months later, I found out his father had been dying that entire time. He hadn't told anyone. And that Thursday night was the one time he came close. I read the signal perfectly. Something was wrong. Then I did the one thing Sherlock never does. I stopped at the read. I never asked. A read is a question, not a verdict. The signal tells you where to look. It never tells you what you're looking at. There's exactly one way to find out. You ask. And then, the hard part? You shut up. Most people ask, then rush to fill the pause. They soften it or whatever. No worries, it's fine. They've asked and unasked in the same breath. Try this instead. Ask something real. What was that like for you? And say nothing. Let it be awkward. Count to 5. People hate silence, and in that gap they volunteer the truest thing they had. Not because you pushed, because you made room. I had every signal I needed. What I didn't have was 5 seconds and one honest question. And there's a reason I'd rather teach you that than the reading. Because the better you get at this, the less you'll want to use it to win. Once you can see what someone is carrying, the tiredness under the joke, the loneliness under the I'm fine, outmaneuvering them stops being interesting. You start wanting to make it easier for them. Same skill, completely different person holding it. This week, pick one conversation. Ask the second question, the one after, how are you? Then leave 5 seconds open. That's the whole assignment. Somewhere out there is a person who's been carrying something for months, waiting for one person to notice, and they will not send a second message. Be the one who notices